The New York Giants find themselves at a pivotal crossroads following one of the worst seasons in franchise history. A dismal 3-14 record forced general manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll into a critical meeting with owner John Mara just 48 hours before the 2024 season officially concluded. This hours-long conversation centered on one pressing question: what went wrong, and how would they fix the quarterback position moving forward? This meeting proved to be the catalyst for a complete quarterback room overhaul, a process that Schoen himself later described as exhausting, to be honest with you. The quarterback search that followed wasn't just about finding a temporary solution. It represented the last chance for this management team to save their jobs after an abysmal season. What emerged from this exhaustive process was perhaps the NFL's most unusual quarterback room. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, rookie Jaxson Dart, and Tommy DeVito now share a space that one NFL coach described perfectly: you need a reality show for that quarterback's room. But while this eclectic group may seem haphazardly assembled, every decision stemmed from a calculated strategy to balance immediate improvement with long-term stability. The question remains, will this quarterback gamble pay dividends, or could it derail the Giants' 2025 season before it even begins? The quarterback room assembled in East Rutherford defies conventional NFL team-building logic. Russell Wilson, once a Super Bowl champion but now on his fourth team in 5 years, brings his image-conscious persona to the top of the depth chart. His one-year, $10.5 million guaranteed contract, with nearly $10 million more in incentives, signals his temporary status. Jameis Winston, described by teammates as gregarious, occupies the backup role after signing a 2-year, $8 million deal. His presence extends beyond 2025, providing crucial insurance as the team transitions to its future. Then there's Jaxson Dart, the swaggy Ole Miss product, who the Giants traded back into the first round to select 25th overall. He represents the franchise's long-term hopes and the first quarterback drafted since Schoen and Daboll arrived in 2022. Rounding out this unusual quartet is Tommy DeVito, the local darling and undrafted free agent who captured fans' hearts briefly during the 2024 season. His future with the team appears limited as the other three quarterbacks demand practice reps. Schoen and Daboll didn't assemble this unconventional group purely for entertainment value. Their success will ultimately be judged by wins, both immediate and future, but this wasn't necessarily their first-choice configuration. It simply evolved through a series of pursuits, pivots, and compromises. The Giants' first meaningful contact with Dart came at January's Senior Bowl. However, Schoen's familiarity with the quarterback extended further back. He had previously observed Dart throw at the Manning Passing Academy, which Schoen attended alongside his high school quarterback's son. Schoen even made the trip to watch Dart in the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State, where Dart completed 14 of 24 passes for 143 yards with a touchdown while adding 77 rushing yards. The evaluation process intensified during the NFL Combine in late February. Dart was among the projected top 3 quarterbacks, alongside Cam Ward and Sheeter Sanders, invited to the Giants facility in early March. The process culminated with a private workout in Mississippi, attended by virtually every key decision-maker in the organization. Schoen, Daboll, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, quarterbacks coach Shea Tierney, president of player evaluation Tim McDonnell, and senior player personnel executive Chris Mara. Schoen would later tell Dart during their post-draft phone conversation that he had dominated the entire process with us. This stellar impression stood in stark contrast to Sanders, who reportedly struggled during his March facility visit when Daboll tested him on an installation provided the night before. Multiple sources confirmed that the Giants organization grew lukewarm on Sanders following this interaction. By draft day, the Giants implemented their two-pronged strategy: select the best available player, Abdul Carter, with the 3rd overall pick, then aggressively pursue Dart later in the first round. This second move required significant capital. Their 2nd-round pick, number 34th, 2nd, 3rd rounder, number 99, and a 2026 3rd-round pick to trade up to the 25th position with the Houston Texans. Dart's college credentials supported this investment. During the 2024 season at Ole Miss, he completed 69.3% of his passes for 4,279 yards, with 29 touchdowns against just 6 interceptions. His mobility added another dimension with 495 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. The path to this quarterback room wasn't linear, but rather the culmination of multiple failed pursuits. Sources with knowledge of the Giants' draft strategy revealed they would have traded up for Jaden Daniels or Drake May in 2024 had Washington or New England been willing partners. Similarly, they explored acquiring the first overall pick from Tennessee this year, but their overtures were rebuffed. More intriguing was their aggressive pursuit of veteran solutions. The Giants inquired about Matthew Stafford prior to the trade deadline when the Rams hovered around .500. This preliminary conversation evolved into serious negotiations in February when the Rams granted Stafford's agent permission to discuss contracts with other teams. What followed was a 5-week dance where the Giants tried desperately to acquire Stafford. According to a source with knowledge of the negotiations, they offered approximately $50 million per season, substantially more than the 2-year $84 million deal Stafford ultimately accepted to remain in Los Angeles. After the saga concluded, Stafford's stance became clear. I never really wanted to leave. The Giants even explored bringing Aaron Rodgers across town from the Jets. A source familiar with the quarterback market advised watching for Rodgers making the switch across town during the Combine. While this unconventional pairing seemed questionable, would a 41-year-old Rodgers join a 3-14 team, or would that team want him? The possibility progressed to the point where Rodgers had a one-on-one conversation with Daboll to explore if it made sense on a football level. When these premier options evaporated, the Giants pivoted to Wilson, Winston, and eventually Dart. Not necessarily their original plan, but the culmination of adjustments to market realities. Russell Wilson enters the 2025 season as the Giants' presumptive starter, but his grip on that role appears tenuous at best. Wilson's recent track record raises serious concerns. As ESPN's Dan Graziano bluntly stated, Wilson hasn't been a very good starting quarterback for the past 4 years. Wilson's contract structure reflects his temporary status. His 1-year, $10.5 million guaranteed salary comes with performance incentives tied directly to playing time and team success. For instance, he can earn an additional $2.5 million by playing 85% of offensive snaps, with further bonuses connected to passer rating, $250,000 and $500,000 thresholds, and an additional $3 million tied to winning. The real question isn't if Wilson will be replaced, but when. ESPN's Dan Graziano predicts Dart will take over by November, noting that rookie quarterback development plans rarely proceed as initially outlined, especially when losses accumulate. This timeline pressure creates a challenging dynamic for Wilson, who must perform immediately while looking over his shoulder at the franchise's future, waiting in the wings. The Giants' quarterback strategy carries enormous stakes for the franchise's immediate and long-term trajectory. If Wilson performs well enough to maintain his starting role throughout 2025, the team could exceed expectations while allowing Dart's development to proceed organically. The ideal scenario that would validate Schoen and Daboll's approach. Conversely, if Wilson falters and Dart is forced into action prematurely, it could derail multiple careers simultaneously. A rookie quarterback thrown into a dysfunctional situation rarely thrives, potentially damaging both Dart's development and the job security of those who selected him.